Hey, welcome to my audio podcast for Monday. How's everyone doing? So, today we're basically going to rant a little bit about Nexus, right? So, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts about the Nexus device. So, before getting started, welcome again. I know it takes up time, but I really love those sound effects. But welcome. And I just want to talk about Nexus because it's been a long time since we really used that name Nexus. But I don't want to let the Nexus name die. So, in this podcast, I'm going to talk to you guys about it. And I really do miss Nexus. Don't you guys? Don't you guys miss Nexus just a little bit? I mean, some of you guys might laugh on my next statement, but I have never owned a Nexus phone. Never. From the Nexus 1 all the way up to the Nexus 6P, I've never owned any one of those. And if I could, because I know some might suggest and say, hey, why not go to eBay or Amazon and buy you a Nexus 6P or 5X? And I could definitely do that. But if I'm going to buy my very first Nexus phone, I want it to be the latest, newest Nexus phone. And the 6P is already, 2 years old? Just about almost? It's about to be 2 years old. If I buy my first Nexus device, I want it to be something brand new. And the thing that's always dawned on my mind is, why can't Nexus and Pixel coexist? Because I've talked to people about it. I'm like, I would love to buy a Nexus device. And people are like, well, the latest would actually be the Pixel or the Pixel XL. But to me, the Pixel and Pixel XL is Google's phone. Sure, HTC was commissioned to build it, which definitely means, in other people's eyes, it's technically a Nexus phone. But the Pixel was advertised and broadcasted to be Google's phone. Google's first hardware phone to go up against the iPhone. I don't want that. See, Nexus has always been, at first, a developer device. It was a device for developers to use to hone their applications. What they didn't know was that a lot of people were going to look at Nexus as a flagship, something that they wanted for pure Android experience. And therefore, Nexus has always been popular, synonymous with every vlogger out there when they mention the word pure stock Android experience. And a lot of devices try to go towards that. Like, do you guys remember the Play editions? What was it, like the HTC One, I think it was like M8 Play or the M7 Play? I forgot which one it was. But there was a Play edition, which was just pure stock Android, no HTC Sense on it whatsoever. I mean, there were devices that was moving towards trying to be like Nexus devices. Of course, one thing we remember about Nexus is that it was guaranteed updates at least 3 generations or more, which is a lot more than what we got with flagships and mid-range devices. But I just don't understand why Nexus could not have coexisted with Pixel. Why give up on it? The beauty of Nexus was that I know that the Pixel was commissioned by HTC, but Nexus never really stayed true to one manufacturer, true to one brand. They tag-teamed with all manufacturers out there for one generation of a Nexus. Samsung, Motorola, HTC, LG, Huawei have had the distinct pleasure of saying that at one time they have built a Nexus device. And I so totally miss that. And I hope and pray that the Nexus will return. That's what we need. A Nexus reboot. Like, keep the Pixel. I'm not saying to get rid of the Pixel. I think the Pixel is a pretty solid phone. Sure, it's minus a few features, but you know what? Again, this is back to the whole pickiness of what we expect out of a smartphone. And to some people, the Pixel is the greatest phone out. To some people, it missed the target, the bullseye, by like millimeters. But I don't want a Google phone. I want a Nexus phone. I want to see what other manufacturers, laugh if you may, but I would love to see what ZTE could come up with to partner with Google to create another Nexus device in the future. I would love to see Lay Echo tag team up with Google and create a Nexus device. Even Kyocera A name that is hardly ever mentioned and is only synonymous with waterproof, dust resistant, impact resistant display. But I would love to see what concepts they would come up with and what Nexus devices would be coming out, what they would bring to the table. I honestly feel that there is a way for there to be Pixels and Nexus to coexist and one not cancel out the other. Because again, the Nexus was never really Google's phone. I mean, it gave you a stock Android experience because the original idea of the Nexus was to be a developer, for developers to hone their applications for Android, to have a device that was easy to use, was easily manipulated, so then that way applications would be optimized for Android. Nexus was that. That was its original true purpose. What it meant to consumers was a pure stock Android experience, so untainted, untouched, unmodified. Straight from Google itself, you would get Android OS. And you got timely updates, which I know the Pixel will get timely updates, but Nexus got them too. And to really have that Nexus branding spoke volumes when people saw your phone in public. If you had a Nexus device for Google, it spoke massive volumes. You know, people would see Nexus and be like, wow, that's a Nexus device. Pure stock Android. How is it? How's the cameras? How's the battery? You know, a lot of new things that Android had implemented into it, you found on Nexus devices before any other device out there. I would really love for Google to bring back Nexus. And for that, I say in my rant, I miss Nexus. And I hope that one day it will come back. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. Do you guys miss the Nexus brand? And if tomorrow Google announced that they were going to partner up with another manufacturer to build Nexus, would you buy that device? Hands down, no questions asked. Please leave a comment. If you guys enjoyed my podcast, let me know by giving me a like. And yeah, thanks for listening. And we'll do another one next time. So mahalo, aloha, good night.